started working at the Hershey store at the age of 16, and then I met Drew.
First day of starting at the museum, I met a girl named Beka, and we started off pretty good friends, just like, co-workers, that whole kind of relationship.
We started hanging out, within work and talked a lot, but then like about a year later, everything just kind of went downhill. Like I saw him changing and he wasn't open anymore. He just didn't want to talk to people.
I was just there to be there because it was a job and didn't really care to connect. Was when the drugs started to play a part as well.
He would start talking about, like how church wasn't his thing and it never really was, and he doesn't really, like he believes there's a God, but not the way I believed.
The whole time we were working together, she was always very open about her faith and would always just share. She'd always be like reading like her Bible app on her phone, and I would always just kind of like scoff at it and just make jokes here and there.
It would just make me so mad that I would go home like almost in tears because of how just rude he was and the comments he would make.
2 years ago, I was in a pretty bad car accident. My best friend Harrison, like I was just having a good time, driving around some back roads, and the next thing you know, the way it felt to me was I just wake up in the hospital. And there was some drugs found in my system.
It was just really hard to feel sorry for him because he didn't feel sorry for what he did.
6 months later, so found out that I had to be in court. That hits you kind of hard too, and it's like, well, by the way, on Friday you gotta be in court for a trial of like 6 felonies.
I know hate's a strong word, but I hate him. Like I can't do this anymore. And my mom just like looked at me and was like, you know what? The best thing that you can do for somebody that you have so much like hate towards is to pray for them. At LCBC, we had a thing about like having chairs open and inviting that person, and they gave us sticky notes and we had to write a note of who we wanted to invite and who was going to fill that empty seat. And the first person that came to their mind was Drew. And so I went and put it on the board and came back and just sat there kind of silent and almost in tears of just feeling like, why am I trying so hard to invite somebody who doesn't care? That was like my last straw. Like, okay, I'm gonna put your name down and that's it, I'm done.
I just started to get these feelings. I didn't really know what they were, just something kind of, urging me to go. So I called her up and just said, hey, this is going through a really rough time. I know I need it.
And he's like, I need to go to church. And that to me was like, oh my gosh, like I put his name on the board and it's happening. Like finally, after 5 years of like adamant, like praying and always like telling him he had to come, and he finally asked. And I was like, yeah, like, okay, like I'll bring you.
So they picked me up Sunday morning, and next thing you know, I'm sitting there at church at LCBC.
And so we sat down and the music came on, and I just looked like kind of up at him, and his face just, like his eyes just kind of got big of like, oh my gosh, like this is different.
I was excited and just overwhelmed, like a little nervous too, because it was just a completely new world to me. And the music starts playing and it's just like heart starts racing, you're standing up, singing along. It's all this different kind of rock music that I'd never experienced at church before. And then, the big screens roll down and they're just, the messages they're giving, just everything seems to hit home.
And then after church and stuff, we were walking out and I was like, so what did you think? He was just like, I don't have words. He's like, I just need to soak it in, is what he said to me. And I was just kind of like, was happy inside, like giddy of like, oh my gosh, like it happened.
It was a lovely day as a whole, and go to college the whole week just like everything's normal. And then that Friday is when I had my final court session. So it was there standing in the courtroom in front of all the people, the judge and everything, that I realized that I'd be going to jail, that afternoon.
I was like, it's gonna be okay. Like God is with you and it's gonna be okay.
I was laying on the bed facing the wall, and carved into a wall was a cross, just right there, like right in front of my vision, was a cross. And then etched into the cross, it said, he can get you through anything. All you need is to believe.
There's another guy who we worked with at the store named Matt, and he goes to LCBC as well. The one day he came up to me and was like, I'm just blown away. And I just looked at him and goes, Drew is like a completely different person. Like he was one person, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't even know who he is.
My entire outlook is completely different. It's not Drew-based, it's definitely God-based.
He really is just two different people, like completely. I don't even know. Like it's just really strange to even think back of, was that really him? Like, because he's just totally different.
See, now go to church pretty much every week, volunteer Kidmin with a buddy, so I'm with him every week. I also have done men's frat for a year, and I'm going in the second year now.
Just to see him like just grow, and like he's at work and he's inviting people. Like he was like, hey, like I invited someone from work, and I was like, Drew, that's great. Like I'm so glad that now it's your turn. Like it's your turn to share your story, and it's your turn to have other people's, you're that person now that can change other people's lives.
And she kept talking about her faith all this time, and I just ignored it, and find out later that she'd been praying for me the whole time and wanted me to go, and then I find myself going there every week and just have a great relationship with Jesus now, accept him as my Savior. Maybe it took me 5 years to hit my lowest point to get to a place where I'd open my heart to him, but here I am now, and it's just, things are just way better. My name is Drew. I've been attending LCBC Harrisburg for about 2 years now, and I'm a life changed by Christ.
Drew is a life changed by Christ.